Hi, I'm Shelly. I was very popular at school and the cheer captain on top of that. One day, my parents told me that my cousin was going to come stay with us. The last time we had seen each other was in childhood. I remember that she was constantly throwing temper tantrums, but Sophia had been a child back then and had probably changed since. A little spoiler, I couldn't have been more wrong. When she arrived, I tried to act friendly. My parents decided Sophia would stay in my room, and I prepared a place for her to sleep in advance. When Sophia saw the mattress, she grimaced and asked me if she could take the bed. I didn't care much, so I agreed. Then she took my things off the shelf and put her own stuff there. But her insolence did not stop there. In the morning, I went to take a shower, and when I came back, I couldn't believe my eyes. Sophia was wearing my makeup. She had used the most expensive cosmetics, too. I'd spent a very long time saving up for them. Sophia began to annoy me, but I tried to stay calm and politely asked her to put the cosmetics back in their place. It was my boyfriend Mark's birthday that day. He was throwing a pool party. I had been really looking forward to it. I'd bought a gift and baked a birthday cake in advance. I was in a great mood, and even Sophia couldn't ruin it. Or at least that's what I thought, until something happened. Sophia saw me getting ready and asked me where I was going. I told her that I was going to my boyfriend's birthday party, and I wish I'd kept quiet. She asked to come with me. Of course I didn't want to take her with me. I had almost figured out how to refuse when my mom walked into our room. Of course you can go with Shelly. Have fun, girls. I groaned inwardly. I didn't want to argue with my mom, so I agreed. Sophia was delighted and immediately asked to borrow some of my things. She reached into my closet and took out a miniskirt and a top. Can I take these? I looked at her and at my clothes, confused. Did she seriously think my clothes were big enough for her? Don't you think that our sizes are a little different? Nonsense. I'll agree in this. I don't know why she even bothered asking for my permission because she didn't seem to need it. She put on the top and was jumping around the room, trying to squeeze into my skirt. She looked so ridiculous that I almost burst out laughing. The top and skirt were practically busting at the seams. We got ready, I took the gift, and went to the kitchen to get the cake. I opened the refrigerator and froze with my mouth open. Someone had eaten half of it. I almost burst into tears because I had put a lot of effort into cooking it. I immediately called my mom and blew up on her. I told you not to touch the cake. It was for Mark's birthday. Mom assured me that neither she nor Dad had touched it. She was definitely not lying, and I realized something. If my parents hadn't eaten it, then the only one could have done it. Well, yeah, I ate it. I got hungry at night and ate a couple of pieces. I was speechless. Sophia didn't feel guilty at all, and it infuriated me. But when I started scolding her, to my surprise, Mom took her side. Shelly, quit it. You can't even share a piece of cake with your cousin. She gave me money and told me to buy a cake at the store. I was in a terrible mood, but Sophia managed to make things even worse. She didn't stop talking for a second as we walked. A lot of people had come to the party. Everyone was telling Mark how lucky he was to be dating me. We were having fun and everything was going great, but Sophia kept being annoying. She wouldn't leave me alone and wanted to be the center of attention. At some point, everyone started diving into the pool. I used to be on the swimming team, and my friends asked me to show them a cool trick. I stood on the springboard, jumped, twisted in the air, and landed beautifully. Everyone whistled and applauded loudly. Then Sophia suddenly declared that she could do the same thing. Before we knew it, she was diving into the pool. It was truly something. Everyone who was standing nearby was doused with water. The girl screamed loudly. The water hit the barbecue and the steaks that were being cooked, and the fire went out. I felt terribly embarrassed, while Sophia seemed absolutely fine. She came out of the pool and looked around, seeming satisfied. I told you! Did you see how cool I was? Everyone was sick and tired of her antics, and Mark got an idea. He asked his friend Ethan to talk to Sophia and distract her. At first, Ethan refused, but Mark managed to convince him. The funniest thing was that Ethan succeeded. Sophia started bothering him, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. At the end of the evening, Mark asked me to come with him to the yard. We sat on the swings. We were hidden by the bushes, so no one could see us. We were finally alone. Mark leaned toward me and was about to kiss me. Oh, there you are. Damn, I had it up to here with her. Sophia had seen us leave and followed us. She had even dragged poor Ethan along with her. I was about to shout at her when Mark smoothed things over. He said it was getting late and it was time to end the party. He called me in the morning the next day and suggested something interesting. A basketball court had been built in this area. People often came there to play. Mark suggested I join his team. Sophia was still asleep, and I tried to pack quietly. I wanted to sneak out of the house unnoticed, but it didn't work out. Sophia woke up and, of course, followed me. The game was going great as usual. A lot of people came to watch. My unbearable cousin kept getting in the way. She clumsily jumped on the other players and pushed them to get the ball. Mark was the captain of our team and eventually snapped. He asked Ethan to distract Sophia again so that everyone else could have a nice time. Ethan kept refusing, but in the end, he felt sorry for the players and distracted Sophia with the conversation. After she left the court, playing became much easier. Our team soon took the lead. I sat on Mark's shoulders and scored the decisive goal. We were celebrating the victory when suddenly noticed that Sophia was whining at Ethan. I want to do that too. She made him sit down and got on his shoulders. We tried to stop her, but it was too late. Ethan tried to get up, lost his balance, and they fell. Ethan immediately grimaced and groaned. His neck hurt, so Mark and I brought him to the doctor. Sophia came with us. Just imagine. She didn't feel guilty. On the contrary, she said that Ethan should work out more since he couldn't even lift a girl. I couldn't help but say, "This is all your fault. It's not that Ethan needs to work out, you just need to lose weight." Sophia snorted, hurt, turned away, and didn't say anything else. Luckily, Ethan had just sprained his neck a little. I came home feeling angry at Sophia. I came up to my mom and asked her quietly when Sophia would leave. I was hoping that my cousin would be staying with us for a short time, but I was in for some unpleasant news. Just imagine, Sophia was going to live with us for a whole month, and my parents had also talked to my principal so that she could go to the same school as me. What a nightmare. I couldn't stand it. Please try to make friends with her. She got in some serious trouble, so her parents sent her here for a while. Sophia was usually the source of the trouble, but trying to prove it to my mother was useless. At school, my worst fears came true. My cousin followed me everywhere and demanded that I show her everything. She even sat next to me in the cafeteria. Within 5 minutes, all my friends hated her. She was picking on everyone, criticizing them, and constantly putting her foot in her mouth. When Sophia finished eating and went to get a second serving, my friends asked me to get rid of her. I would love to, but I don't know how. A classmate of mine was walking by our table. I immediately got an idea. I grabbed her by the arm and sat her down on Sophia's chair. When my cousin came back, there was nowhere for her to sit. We hoped she would move, but that didn't happen. She took a chair from the next table, pulled it up to ours, and sat between Mark and me. I was grinding my teeth with anger. Everyone was annoyed, but Sophia didn't seem to notice it. However, at the end of the day, someone finally put her in her place. The cheerleading team had an important performance coming up, so we were busy preparing for it. After classes, our team came to the gym. The girls and I talked and decided that we needed new costumes. Mine was supposed to stand out, and I was planning on ordering a custom costume. When we started practicing, Sophia came into the gym. She tried to repeat after us, but only got in the way again. She messed up our performance and even tried to lecture us. In the end, my friends couldn't stand it. "You can't be in the gym while we're practicing." "That's right, get lost." For the first time, Sophia didn't know what to say. She left, and we calmly finished practicing. When I got home, Sophia pounced on me. "Everyone hates me because I'm fat." I tried to explain to her that her figure had nothing to do with it. She was just being too brazen. But Sophia didn't want to hear it, and spent the whole evening pointedly watching the TV. When my mom came home from work, I asked her for money for the new costume, but I was in for an unpleasant surprise. Recently, my parents had paid off a loan, and they barely had enough money to last us for the rest of the month. We don't have any extra money, and Sophia's visiting us as well. Her family is also struggling financially now, and they didn't give her any pocket money. That really upset me. How was I supposed to sew a costume now? The next day, I complained to Mark, and he offered to lend me money. I couldn't accept that and refused. Then he came up with another idea. There was a place in our city where singers and dancers performed in the evenings. "You're a great dancer. You could try to earn extra money by performing." It was a good idea, and after classes, Mark, Ethan, and I went there. Have you guessed who tagged along yet? Right, it was Sophia again. She was very persistent. When I started dancing, she stood next to me and tried to repeat after me. It was distracting and I couldn't focus. Then she asked Ethan to dance with her. He suddenly snapped and told her everything he thought of her. Sophia turned red and snapped back. She stayed with us for a while longer, then turned around and left. Finally. After she left, things started working out and I earned some money. The success inspired me and I came there to perform several more times. As a result, I earned a decent amount of money. I added my pocket money to it and ordered the costume. A couple of days later, I picked it up at the tailor shop and went home satisfied. The costume turned out to be very beautiful. I was really looking forward to performing in it. When I got home, I immediately realized that something had happened. My mom looked frustrated. She said that the money she and Dad had been saving up was gone. That was when she noticed the costume in my hands and frowned. "Shelly, did you take the money to buy a costume?" I was so indignant. How could my mom suspect me of something like that? I said that I earned the money for the costume myself, but she didn't believe me. Then, Dad broke in and we had a fight. At some point, Sophia returned home. She heard that my parents were fighting and immediately tried to calm my parents down. "Shelly, how could you do that?" That was the last straw for me, and the fight turned into a real scandal. As a result, my parents took away my pocket money for several months. It was terribly unfair, and I burst into tears. Our team was supposed to perform the next day. I had been looking forward to it for a really long time, but now I wasn't enthusiastic at all. I felt awful, but tried to perform well for the sake of my friends. We nailed it. At the end, I performed a difficult trick, and the audience was delighted. Then Sophia ran out on stage. Would she ever calm down? I noticed that she was wearing new clothes that looked a lot like my costume. When had she bought it? I watched you practice and learned how to do it as well. Let me show you. Sophia wanted to repeat my trick. I shouted that it could be dangerous without proper practice, but she just waved me off. She jumped up, tried to do a somersault, and fell. It was expected, so I wasn't even surprised. I wanted to laugh, but Sophia suddenly started screaming that her leg hurt. We called a doctor. It turned out that she had managed to land so badly that she got a fracture. Sophia was brought to a hospital, and I went with her. Soon my terrified parents joined in. While Sophia was being put in a cast, I was holding her things. At some point, her phone started ringing. It was a call from a fitness club. I answered, and you wouldn't believe what I found out. It turned out that my cousin had bought a subscription to a weight loss program. I immediately began to wonder where she got the money for it as well as the new clothes. I turned on the speakerphone and my parents heard our conversation. Mom and Dad exchanged glances. After Sophia was discharged, my parents asked her directly if she had taken our money. Naturally, Sophia denied everything, and then she clutched at her leg and pretended to be in a lot of pain. After a while, her parents arrived. They had decided to take Sophia home because of her fracture. I was over the moon, but then I accidentally overheard a conversation between my mother and my aunt. My aunt started crying and confessed something. It turned out that it hadn't been the first time Sophia had stolen something. She often took things from her classmates or neighbors without asking. She had recently gotten into big trouble because of it, and that was why Sophia's parents had sent her to another city. After that talk, Mom apologized to me for her accusations. Shelly, I'm sorry. Your father and I were wrong. You're a very smart girl. The best daughter in the world. We made up. Ethan and Mark came over in the evening. Sophia and her parents were just about to leave. We rejoiced and saw them off together. Finally, I told Sophia it wasn't her looks that she should change. Everybody hates you for your personality, not your looks. Sophia snapped at me and said that she was amazing. Yeah, it seems like some people are lost causes, and my cousin is one of them. Do you know people like Sophia? Tell us in the comments below.